Hey guys, it's me again. This time I'm reporting on my first challenge. I've just completed it. It wasn't fun, just saying that. Yeah, so let's get right into it. So, the first challenge that I did, I decided to do communication and language. And I looked at communication and language and tried to find something that was very pertinent to us in society at the moment. So, it was actually during a lecture by Andrew Swanepoel, one of the artists that Alice got into to teach us, and he was telling us about his performance art and what he does, and other performance artists that he'd looked at and that he talks about to his students and things like that. And while I was in the lecture, completely non-related, but it just got the thought process going because I was thinking, what the hell am I going to do? Because I had no idea what I was going to do for these things. Thankfully, though, something just watching him and listening to him triggered something, and I needed it. So I was in the lecture and I was thinking about these things. I thought, okay, communication, language, what's pertinent to us nowadays, and what's important to our society. And I started thinking because everyone around me, we're all on our laptops at Beg and we're all on our phones and things. So I thought, hey, we're all on social media and we all talk to each other on social media all the time. And it got me thinking how people are constantly talking on social media, but we're slowly losing the ability to actually have to make small talk and to actually just converse with each other normally. And so I was thinking about how like my friends and I we'll talk on social media, and like I'll WhatsApp some of my friends and they'll respond really quickly, and they'll be able to talk to me on WhatsApp. But the moment I go out to a bar or a club or something with them, I don't really go clubbing, and I try to talk to them, it's mission impossible. Like they cannot have a conversation with you anymore, and it's actually really scary that that's the way society is going. These are intelligent people, but they can't communicate, and it's one of the basic things that we as people can do. And you would think that it would come really easily, but because of technology, and I'm not saying technology is a bad thing. Please do not think of it that way. But technology is actually prohibiting us from communicating, even though we're using it to communicate. I know that's a bit strange, but it is. So what I decided to do is I decided I was going to dress up completely in black today. As you can see, can't really see it on this video, but I've got a button-up shirt, I've got a tie. I hate wearing ties because they always come up to my neck and makes me feel sick. I had long black pants on and my shiny black shoes. And what I did is I dressed up like say all in black today. I didn't communicate at all. My body language was completely deadpan. I was completely expressionless for the whole day, and I didn't talk, which was a struggle. But what I did do to communicate is I used my phone, and I would only talk to people through social media. So I would text people and things like that. And I thought going to the challenge, it wouldn't be that tough. I thought because everybody is always on social media, and I look at the people around me because I did this challenge at college, and everybody's always on WhatsApp. So I thought, okay, cool, they'll understand, and it'll be all right. And I was wondering how big an impact what I was doing would make. So, like I say, got up this morning and I went to college, and all dressed in black. My parents thought I was going crazy. They thought I was in some emo trend or something, which wasn't so great. And they were wondering why am I talking on a phone and why can't I actually communicate with them. Not that I'd say much in the morning anyway. Not really a morning person. So went to college this morning, all dressed in black. Wasn't saying anything. It was a real struggle because I sing when I drive, so that I had to watch. And like I say, completely deadpan expressions. And first thing I do, arrive in the car park, park my car, and one of my mates from in my course, Lexi, arrives at the same time, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Luke," and all this kind of stuff, and she wants to talk, and I can't talk. And it was so strange because she sees me getting out of the car in my whole black getup, and she's like, "Oh, you're looking good today," so I can't communicate, and I was trying to figure out a way to kind of greet her and say, "Yeah, it's cool. You don't really see me in this kind of stuff." So I waved without a smile or anything, just deadpan wave. And then I went like that to show, yeah, in different clothes. And she came running across because she wanted to talk to me about some stuff, I think to do with this project. I actually can't remember. And we decided we're gonna walk into Vega together because we were both going to the same lecture. And she's talking, saying, "Oh, how are you?" and all this kind of stuff, and I can't respond. I literally can't make an expression to say like, "Sorry, just look at my phone" or anything. And I literally, it was like being a robot. I literally just took out my phone and I started typing, and it actually came across as exceptionally rude, which I'm not, which I really struggled with, and I hate it when people are in a conversation with you and they take out their phone and suddenly start typing. So for me, this was completely against the grain and was really, really uncomfortable. And then, because Lexi was kind of looking at me strange, and then I pointed to my phone and I typed something saying, "Hey, how are you? Sorry, can't talk." And then she was like, "Oh, flip, sorry, it's your challenge." And she realized, because the day before we were all talking about what are we going to do, and I'd said this is the challenge I was going to do. And then she was like, "Oh no!" And then she was friendly again, because towards the end of the conversation before I got on my phone, she even said to me she thought I was being really rude because she'd offended me or something like that yesterday, or she'd done something wrong. But meanwhile, it was literally just because I couldn't communicate. And I thought, I knew my body language was going to come across like that, but it was really sad, because if you think about a person who's mute, they have to try to communicate through sign language and all these kind of things. And people don't give them the time, so people often think they're offhand or frustrated or angry with people because we can't understand their body language, but also because we're not taking the time to see what they're actually doing, and we're just and we're not paying attention to them. So that was my first interaction going to college. That was thought was really interesting, with Lexi and I going to our lecture. So go to our lecture, and people, I don't know if people really took notice of me. I think they did, because I was wearing all black, but I mean, they hadn't realized then that I wasn't communicating. And so sit down at my desk, my usual place, and everybody's sitting around me, and everybody's going, "Oh, hey, hey, hey." And what I thought was quite fun is I'd already typed out "hey" on my phone. So whenever somebody suddenly greeted me, I just put up my phone. And I could see from people's reactions that they thought I was being very rude, or like I was something that I was doing that was intense, so I didn't want to be disturbed. So you could see they were almost kind of put off, because suddenly the phone would be put up and it was a "oh hey" instead of a "oh hey, how are you" type thing, and not my usual style. And that was really uncomfortable for me, because whenever somebody greets me or something, I always respond. So anyway, I went through the rest of the day at college, not talking and putting up my phone and talking to people through my phone. What I thought was funny is Sadia, one of my friends at college, she actually, if you want to say, took pity on me. And every time we communicated, what she would do is she'd come across with her phone, and she'd type out a message on her phone, and then she'd show the message to me, and then I'd type a message back and then show her. Or if she wanted to ask me something but she didn't want to get up from her seat, then she'd drop me a WhatsApp, and then I'd drop her one back. And so I thought that was really nice. But I know one thing that was really, really getting to people is on the messages that I was showing, I'd have emoticons like really friendly things, or a laughing face, or something really happy. But if you looked at my expression on my actual face, it was emotionless completely. And by the end of the day, because I went and saw my mom at work, she could pick up. She said, "You're frustrated and you're angry." And I said, and at the end of the day, I said, "I didn't mean to be, but yeah, I was actually really frustrated." So one thing I thought was interesting is people didn't have time for me anymore. There were some things where people needed to come ask me stuff for college, for some of our lectures, because I knew the information, but because it took me so much longer to get the information out, people were very impatient and didn't really want to come to me unless they really, really had to. And what I thought was interesting is one of the girls, Caro, who came across and was asking me stuff, because she was asking such complex questions, I was trying to type them out, and she was like firing them like a Gatling gun. She laughed and she said, "Okay, sorry, I'll try ask yes or no questions for you to answer," which didn't really end up so well, because she still needed a lot more information. I couldn't give it to her at the time. So people were getting frustrated with me, and during the whole thing, I thought, how is it people who do sign language communicate and actually do this on a day-to-day basis? I thought, because at the moment I'm going insane. So then after college, get in my car, I drove to Lucia Mall because I wanted to go get some shopping. And I went and saw my mom, and like I say, she thought I was very frustrated. And other people that I knew in Lucia Mall were looking at me very strange, because you'll never see me dressed up in this kind of attire. And I wasn't talking, so they were like, "Okay, why is Luke not talking, and why is he not communicating, and why is he not being so friendly? And so I went and got shopping, and I've got my phone on me here. It was quite funny. I went into Woolworths, and the lady there, obviously I couldn't speak to the teller, and I typed out a message while I was actually getting the stuff, and the message went. I'll read it off my phone so you guys can see. I recorded this stuff. And the message went, "Hello, sorry, can't talk. Please may I have a packet, and I don't have a Woolies card. Thank you for understanding. Hope you have a good day," and a really happy smiley face. I don't know if, laptop can't pick that up. But that was the message I sent to her. And what was funny is I knew the system so well that I could already predict the conversation. But what was scary is she almost didn't know how to react. And she looked at it and then she laughed when she saw that I was doing this thing almost in character. I think she kind of picked it up. But at first she was taken aback and like, what's this? Because I mean, in movies and things like that, whenever a person comes with a phone or a till slip or a piece of paper to the counter, they've just got something written on it. It's usually because they've got a gun under the counter and they're saying, give me all the cash. And so first you could see she was quite worried. And then when she saw it was just me saying, "Sorry, please can I have a packet, this is how I need to pay for this stuff," she smiled, but the whole time she was just kind of confused. And at the end of it, she actually laughed and she said, "Thank you very much. You just made this very efficient and you made it really easy for me." So unfortunately, I could not smile there. And I waved and I went home. But this whole challenge for me was extremely frustrating, not being able to communicate. When I was at school, I didn't really voice my opinions enough as I should because I'm not necessarily always the most confident person. And it kind of felt like then, because when you did voice your opinions, often you were told flat out, "No, that's wrong," or "That's such a stupid opinion," or "Why would you think that?" and things like that. So it took me back to then. So I really did get frustrated during the day, not being able to make my stupid one-liners or my comments or actually have a conversation with a person. And because people were so they didn't have time. Sorry, I completely lost the word there, but they didn't have time for you. And I think I struggled with that as well, is because they wouldn't just take the time to allow you to type out for like 2 or so minutes to say, "Okay, here's the message." And it's really ironic because I was using social media to do this, but social media is instant and you have it right there at your fingertips. And when we're conversing over social media, it goes really quickly. But the moment it's small talk, suddenly people almost, they couldn't understand and they couldn't grasp what I was doing there, and they wouldn't take the time to understand what I was doing. But after all the shopping and college and everything, what I did to symbolize everything, and the whole point of this was the passing of communication, and that we no longer have the ability to create small talk. I went to my church, Parish of the Blessed Sacrament, and I've actually got a little video, I'll show it just now, where what I did is I went and I set up my phone. I'm not supposed to do this in the church, but I went and set up my phone to record, and I went to where we have our prayer candles on the side. And what I did is the video shows me lighting a candle and spending a few moments in front of the candle in prayer. And that is the whole point of somebody passing. That's the point of the candles. You light a candle in remembrance for someone, or if somebody is seriously ill or somebody's in trouble, but it's mainly for those who have passed away. And so that's what, I know it's a metaphor, but I went and did that for communication. And ironically, the response I got in the church, people were very confused, the ones that were around that I was there, sorry. And you could see they weren't pleased with what I was doing, even though they knew the meaning behind going and lighting a candle. But the fact that I was completely all dressed in black, which is kind of like a foreign concept for me, and the people know me pretty well in the church, and then also for setting up my phone and things like that, in the church it was kind of seen as taboo and it wasn't a good thing. And later at the end of the day, today, when I told my parents everything that I did, and like my mom gave her reactions to me and things, and I told my dad that I'd gone down to the church, and my dad is kind of old school Catholic, rigid by the book. Nothing wrong with that, but that's how he is. And when I told him I'd gone and done that in the church, he didn't. I don't think he was too pleased. And my mom and I had stressed to them, no, it's the project. That's what the project calls for. It's not because I was trying to rain on the parade in church or throw down religion or anything. it's what the project calls for. It takes you out of your comfort zone and makes people take notice of you in situations that they wouldn't expect. And he got his head around it by the end of the evening, but he still wasn't pleased. So I got the reactions that I was expecting. People were quite negative towards me, weren't willing to help. I mean, besides Sadia and one or two who tried to make communication easier and communicate at the same speed that I was. But people in general are just very, very intolerant, and it's just very sad to see. And I mean, throughout the process, I constantly thought, what the hell? How do people who have to do this on a day-to-day basis? And so it made me more mindful of the struggle that they go through, and it taught me that if I've got something on my mind, I mustn't just hold it anymore. I have to actually say it, and I need to be more confident in that regard, and say what I think and feel. But also, if I come into contact with people who do have speech impediments and things, to actually spend more time with them and to not try to rush them and things like that, and to actually get to try and understand what they're saying and try to get more on their level and be more empathetic and respectful of them, because it's so much harder for them to try and communicate with us than it is for me to communicate with you, whoever's watching right now, because you can hear and understand what I'm saying. So it was an intense challenge. I did enjoy it at the start. I thought, this would be quite quirky, but over the whole challenge, I really didn't enjoy it. By the end of the day, I wasn't in such a great space. But I've done it. I'm glad. That's one down. So yeah, 6 more to go. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.